What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Flying Brian's Garage. Today, I told you this would return in a video, but unfortunately it's not what I thought it would be. We're actually going to trade this back to the man we got it from, or the kid we got it from, and going to pick up something that is really cool and different for the channel, and something that I'm sure you guys will be interested in seeing. So y'all stay tuned, and let's get out there and see what we're going to get today. So we got some dickhead back there chasing us on a lawnmower, and that thing's pretty fast. He's on our ass.
Yeah, we're doing like 65. It's crazy.
Hey, he's faster than the beast. Yeah. Well, we're on the way to Hogansville again to pick up this mower, and I am actually excited to see what we're getting into on this one, because it's going to be a totally different ballpark.
Yeah, this should be pretty cool. It might be worth it to keep it propane just because.
Maybe.
I mean, it ain't like I don't have propane tanks in the house.
Maybe. I mean, hell, I already risked my life enough. Don't do what I do at home. Don't do it.
If you do have really good insurance.
Yeah, because I don't have insurance. I have to lie at home and die like a real man, so. Alright, we are here. And somehow his crazy driving, the lawnmower's still back there. Nah, it ain't that bad.
Ain't that bad. Come on now.
Ain't that bad.
Come on now.
I'm just giving you crap.
It's all good.
I guess we could just probably go on down to his house.
That's the plan.
I'm pretty sure it's probably down here at his house.
Yep.
And that is right here.
Yep.
I see a Troyville
back there. I'm just going to pull up here.
I see a Troyville. I see a Troyville.
I tell you, it looks way better in the daylight.
Yeah, it does.
He still got that damn Dodge Ram too.
That looks like the four-wheeler that Randy wasted.
What's going on, dude?
That looks just like the four-wheeler that Randy wasted. Dude, the frame was so twisted it'd sit on level ground and the front wheel would stick up.
The red mower's up there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, but
Well, it's okay. We can drop this one down here.
yeah.
Now, like I said, I don't have a battery on this, but
Yeah.
we set you up with a battery, so you got one.
Yeah.
And I don't store things with gas in it because there's times where I have so many machines that some of them I don't ride.
Yeah.
So when I fix this, I drain the gas out of it because this new gas goes bad so quickly.
Yeah.
So how I fixed it, let's raise the hood. It's got a newer carburetor on it because I didn't feel like rebuilding the other one. That wheel, you're gonna need some fix-a-flat in. It does not like to hold air for too long. I did air it up before we left the shop.
Or if you got 20 bucks, if those, is that a 16? No, that's a 6. Mine's for an 8. Never mind.
Yeah. So when I got it from you, it didn't have a box on it. So I put this elbow on the carburetor. So like if you don't get a filter for it or something, when you store it at night, you're gonna want to put a bottle over it or something to keep from moisture getting in the carb. I baling wired the tank down. This is the kill switch now. So the ignition still works, and I've got the key. I got to get it out of the truck. You start it with the ignition. You have to have this switch up for on. You start it with the ignition, and then when you want to go shut it off, you just flip that switch, and it shuts the engine off. But it's actually kind of sort of fast for what it is. It's not too fast, but it moves. And that's all I really did to it. I didn't do any modifications. The throttle's still here. Well, actually, that's the run and the parking brake. The throttle's still over here. The only thing I did remove was the lever here for the deck engage. It was all in the way, and that cable and stuff was dragging, so I removed all that. So it's just pretty much a yard tractor.
Yeah. Whenever y'all do those car shows, I think I'm gonna order some rock lights and that radio system like you got.
Oh yeah.
And try to get it down there.
Yeah. That's right, obviously.
Like last
Probably
Saturday
pretty
of the
easy to
month.
install. Because you got room in here for speakers right here.
Yeah, I
And
didn't
then
have that option.
then there's room right here for the radio. Because
So
if you look under there, there's a whole bunch of room for the magnets to clear for the speakers.
So here's the key thing you got to know when you're throwing a radio in these things, when it comes to speakers, and I'm sure your dad can tell you that, you got to have something for the sound to amplify in. So the way mine are set up, here's the box on either side of this, but on the Craftsman I got a lot more room.
Get the key for them.
It basically uses the power in here as the speaker box. That. So if you do get those speakers, like I said, if you mount them back here or down wherever in the world you end up putting them, you're gonna have to have some kind of box in there, or you're not gonna get enough sound out of it.
And it'll sound weird. It'll kind of crackle and sound like
it's
crap.
It's gonna sound like an old 1950s radio in a car. Is basically what it will do.
Now I will say, if you want to see exactly what all I done to this, I did film a video on it on YouTube. So
Alright,
it's a
Whip.
whip.
It up already?
Actually, no. It's going to be in a couple of weeks. It'll drop.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a Will It Run video on this. It was actually pretty easy to get running. So
I got a battery if you want me to go get it.
yeah,
Yeah, you can.
yeah, go get the battery. You got some gas?
Yeah.
All right, grab that too. Hell, I guess let's
Unloader.
yeah. We're gonna unload this thing real quick and I guess put a battery on it for the kid real quick. All right, well, we're gonna put the battery on, but bolt's too big, and we're gonna go up here and see what we're looking up now. I'm excited. Let's see what we got.
Yeah, no bumper to stand on back there.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That thing been stretched?
Has it?
That looks a little longer than it should be. It has been. This back looks like from there back.
Ah, this thing has been heavily modified. Did it? Lord Jesus. Lord Jeebus. It's got a...
And it's functional.
It is functional. Who in the hell built this? Guys, if you have any idea, does anybody know where this came from? Does anybody know who built it?
Because the battery's up here. It's been stretched.
No, the front of the hood has been stretched further in. You can see where they put
we're on the mount.
bed frame
That's going to be
to stretch it, and that's actually broken.
Yeah, that's going to need to be reinforced something fierce.
Oh yeah. Okay, I was.
So what happened?
Oh,
to this thing?
what
made you think
the
that
hell?
the motor popped in it?
It won't spin no more. I mean, it might.
Hold that on, Mike.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it will.
It's crunchy. It's crunchy.
Piston rings. Too much heat from the propane might have cooked them.
Maybe. Sounds like it's getting back pressure in the crankcase.
And it's a little hard to steer
One of the
too.
exhaust pipes is actually gone.
It sure is, ain't it?
Okay, well, that's not a big deal. Actually,
That is craziness.
dude, that dude did the same exact thing as I did. That is galvanized trampoline pole. That's exactly what I do.
That is funny.
This is very elaborate.
Yeah. It's like somebody over-engineered the hell out of it.
Oh, these are 6? No, they're 18.
I'll say those are 8s.
18958s.
Yeah, I was looking at a set of those earlier.
Thought the tires were in a little better shape than they were, but wow, this thing is weird. Yeah, it does have a gas pedal. Oh yeah, this thing. I feel like somebody like rode the crap out of this back in the day, and then just it broke and they lost interest.
They said, I ain't doing it again.
I really feel like that's what happened. It even has a freaking receiver back here for a tow hitch.
12 horsepower overhead valve.
Makes me think, oh.
Safety seat. So they just took that off of something.
No, that sticker was already on it. Okay. I thought they had a slow moving vehicle sign on the back of it. I was like, are they driving this thing on the road at some point?
That's crazy. Trying to feel for gears. Five or four? 3, 4.
I think it's a 4-speed.
1, 2, 3, 4 to the right and left up against the bolt is rear. Reverse.
The axle is in it. It's a Peerless MST 206. Nice. Okay.
Did we just find the rear end for my drift mower? Because you know I still got to find one of those again.
I don't know. If I'm going to take this apart.
Depends on whether or not it runs.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I guess, here, let me see that. So, we have a propane powered 810cc mower. So I think this is a 1988 Murray. It's the same exact year model that I had ridden for the first time in my life.
Dude, it's a good thing I got straps. With that being stretched, I got to have to leave the freaking tailgate open.
Oh yeah, we probably are. That thing is kind of long. No big deal. So where did you get this from?
I bought it from a guy for, not even gonna lie to you, I bought it for 40 bucks.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. That's a good steal. Actually, for 40 bucks, ain't bad. Did he give you any kind of story on it?
He said the guy that had it, their neighbor shot him, and that was his race mower. And he got shot about 2 years back, and it never been worked on or.
Did he die?
Yeah.
Mike, did you just hear that?
Missed it.
It's a dead man's race mower.
Dead man's race mower. Why, the guy die on it?
No.
He got shot by his neighbor.
For riding it?
I have no idea.
It's cursed. It is cursed. Something. I don't know.
That's insane, dude.
That's craziness. I hope he wasn't on it when he got popped. That could be a bad omen. I don't see any dark blood spots, though. We're probably okay.
Yeah, nothing that YouTube is going to flag me for. Damn, that's insane, though. I see the valve.
That's the adapter, yeah, for the propane.
It is carbureted, so I think, honestly, maybe if my sponsor has a carburetor, it could be converted. I don't know, but dadgum, the wiring in this thing. Oh, it actually has a power outlet up here, but what's this for? That's my question. Oh, I have to trace all this wiring. Oh my good Lord Jeebus.
Just put a battery in it, turn the key, and see what happens.
Someone believed in some duct tape.
Oh God, another one of those.
Oh dude, the whole loom back there, this whole back part of this is just covered in duct tape. You can't even see it. It's like just wads of it. Oh yeah, this one's gonna be freaking fun to get running. I can tell that right now, because here's my deal.
This is your next week-long wheel video.
I've never worked on a propane, so here's my idea. How do you put propane down a carburetor and bottle feed propane? What the hell am I supposed to do?
I don't know. I'm assuming it runs off of pressure.
If you find out that I blow up from fixing this, it is not your fault. I'm an idiot. Don't do what I do. It makes me nervous, but it also makes me a little excited at the same time.
I'm pretty stoked to see what it does.
Because I feel like this thing is a death trap. A dangerous death trap.
It's quite the possibility.
And I want to ride it.
I do too.
I'm an idiot.
I guess we both are. Can you eat it? Let me see.
I don't think so.
It's empty.
It's okay.
At least that's on there fairly tight.
Yeah, they got a pretty decent. I can tell they use deck brackets to.
Somebody pop gun, bubble gum welded this.
These are all deck brackets, dude. That's deck bracket arms to lower it. This is the front that attaches to the thing. Dude, someone actually, their welds are bubble gum.
A
couple of them
this
are.
is not pretty over here.
No, it ain't.
That is scary.
I can always go over that. I can lay some beads over that.
Redo it.
I tell you what, I'm taking this propane tank off of it and way far away from it before I do any welding. Good lord.
Yeah, we'll leave the propane tank at my house. When you're ready to start it, call me and bring it over.
No joke. Oh god. What is this? Is this supposed to? Oh.
I wonder if that's the main power switch.
I think so. And it's broken. I mean, if that's a kill switch, who knows what that is?
So did you ever actually have it running? Or
Well,
did you get it pretty much the way it sits?
he sent, when he brought it to me the day after, he sent me a video of it running that was last year sometime.
So that was the one you sent us then? Okay.
Well, no, he sent us a video of him walking around it.
Yeah.
I could hear his voice in the background describing it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I was trying to take these off and put them on something, but I couldn't. I didn't mess with it no more.
Yeah, it looks like he originally had both coming out just like that, but it looks like what happened is one of them broke off.
Rusted off.
Oh.
You can see it.
It makes me wonder how long ago this was built. Dude, this could have been built.
I like that.
What the hell? It's got, look at that. It's almost got fold up headlights. And it ain't even supposed to do that. That's the funny part. It's because this isn't attached to the bottom anymore.
I bet you it's so he don't have to lift the hood up to turn on the propane. I do believe that even though it is mildly over-engineered and some of the reinforcements are really kind of scary, there was a lot of thought put into making this thing run.
There was.
Be
There's even a custom clutch pedal over here. It's not the stock clutch pedal. He's done went and welded a bunch of stuff together.
This bracket bent, and then they got a tab welded to it for a gas pedal.
The guy I got it from, he said that he was his neighbor. There was 3 houses on that one little dirt road.
Yeah.
And he said this was his baby. He was out there working on it every day, all day.
That is crazy.
Well, I guess at this point, makes me feel obligated to keep it together and keep it running.
I know, hearing stuff like that, you really don't want to tear apart somebody's love.
Yep.
That's a hard one to do.
And honestly, I'm kind of one of the perfect people for it to go to. As much I take care of stuff, but yeah. Oh, this
Steers a little. I mean, it steers, but
Well,
it's not easy.
it's because the tires are flat, and it's because all this isn't bolted up anymore. But
Yeah, that's not bad.
let's see if
Is that in a coat? Still in a gear.
hold on, I'm trying to find the neutral.
Oop, that might have been it. Oh, yep, there we go. That's
So neutral's all the way over there. So that means reverse is all the way over to the right. That's weird. Never seen an MST to it. Oh no, it is set up like that. All the way to the right. That would make sense. Okay, I'm gonna put the camera down and help him load this thing. All right, we got her loaded up. Can't wait to see this thing at the house. Well, here she sits in the yard, and Mike's trying it out for the first time, seeing how it feels. What's your opinion?
fucking scary. Pardon the F-bomb. It is fucking scary. Like, not in it needs to be put back together scary, because that we're kind of used to, but it feels like a damn death trap.
Yeah, that's kind of
Maybe
what I was
that's what
thinking.
we should name it. Death trap.
Yeah. I guess, let me see what I think. Oh, good Lord.
You feel it?
Mm-hmm.
It's not, it needs to be put back together scary. It's just scary.
Yeah.
Yep.
This thing is nuts.
Agreed. Something fierce.
Huh. It's already got a custom shift knob on it.
I know, that is pretty cool. I was eyeballing that earlier.
I think it's a thread on too. Yep, MST206. Five.
Dude, this thing runs on a dang car battery.
That's neutral. Yep. That's first. That's second. That's third. That's fourth. That's fifth. It's got 6 speeds. It's a 6-speed.
Nice. I'm really jealous. I'm still trying to find one.
It's a 6-speed. Okay. I don't gonna lie, I was kind of jealous about your V-twins and your fucking opposed twins, so it's all good. Well, so this is where the steering wheel used to go through, right here.
So it has been moved.
It's been moved. Everything has been moved forward. This used to be a hump that went all the way back, and the seat used to sit way higher, so what they did was they cut out the hump. The shifter used to come way up through here.
Yeah.
And used to be right here. Oh yeah, they have seriously modified the absolute fook out of this thing. It even has the... I'm wondering if they had some kind of brake lights on it at some point. Because you see that? They got it welded for the...
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Or maybe he just wasn't good at wiring and backwards the switch, so the clutch is up and it turns on. I don't know. I really don't know. It's a lot. Lot to process here.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot to figure out how everything was built and then figure out how to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely going to be a project.
Oh yeah. I didn't think it was going to be so much work, but I was wrong. Very, very wrong. Well. Hell yeah. Here she sits. I'm going to push it off to the side, and then at some point we'll be back at this video, but we're not going to start getting this thing running now. I've got other things to focus on. Didn't even plan on going to get this today, so yep, we're going to put it up. We'll come back at this video at a later date and get this thing running and riding again. I'm excited. So I want to take a quick second, make a new little commercial thingy, whatever you want to call it. Y'all be sure to go like the videos. Or YouTube likes that. Comment down below. YouTube likes that. We're still trying to get to 1,000 subscribers to get monetized, so if you're not subscribed yet, be sure to hit that subscription button and hit the all notifications bell. That way you're notified every time we put out a new video, which is at least once a week at this point. Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram. The only one that's different is these Snapchats and Avatar. The rest of them are the same profile picture as the YouTube channel, so you can go to those platforms, type in Flying Brian's Garage in the search engines. You should find me, and we post different content to those as a sneak peek to what is coming. Also, be sure, if you want to, come join us on Facebook at Flying Brian's Garage Mud and Race Mowers. We have a group where we're trying to build like-minded folk to come around and share your builds, share your ideas, and maybe even plan a get-together ride or something. So y'all be sure to check out all those things and stay tuned for the newer videos. If y'all want to check out some of the older videos, we got a bunch of stuff back there in playlists. So if you're feeling a little like in a little Flying Brian's Garage mood, y'all can go back, watch a bunch of old videos, and stay tuned for the newer ones. And let's go ahead and get back into the shenanigans of the video. Well folks, the time has come. We finally have a clear shop. So that means we have room for this unit. Finally. And I cannot wait to get this thing in the shop. Start working on it. Because this is a bad mama jama right here. Well, I'm going to get the tow rig and see about hooking up to this thing and getting it drug up to the front to pull into the shop. I was just looking. That car has seen better days. I wonder what happened to that. Ugh. Right, we just got the tow rig out and got this up here and went ahead and put it back. We got to put some air in these tires before we roll it up in here. The front ones are off the bead and the rear ones are just low, so I'm gonna see what I can do. Either reinflate the front ones or change them out and reinflate the rear ones and get this thing rolled up in here onto the lift. Let's see what we're Alright, the 88 Murray is finally in the shop for the first time ever. So let's go over this thing real quick, me and you guys, and we'll see what we're working with, see what all we need to fix. I know first off I want to add some fenders back to it because, no, this is going to end up being the Bandit mower. So the Trans Am in the movie, I'm going to paint it up like that. Since I have a General Lee, I'm going to have a old cop racer. I figured why not a Bandit machine too. So we'll be doing the Bandit, or at least getting this thing running and getting it ready to paint before anything. So alright, here's what we're looking at. I know we saw this when we went and picked it up, the bed frame. That is broken. Clearly broken. I'm probably going to fix that somehow and get the hood back in position. I know that I need to put the paneling back on. It is all tore apart. Yeah, I'd like to get it back on. One thing I'm definitely going to have to address is that is not a good... There's a temperature sensor. I might be taking that out. I can use that for mine. I love the oil cooler. I'm going to leave it on here. I think what happened was the guy put the oil cooler on it when he noticed that the oil was getting too hot, but he didn't realize, hey, you're cooking your oil, bud. I mean, the exhaust is laying, just laying on the oil filter, and that is no good. So I have to totally reroute this exhaust and do something else with it, because that is not acceptable. I feel like I'll be doing some welding on this unit to kind of cover up his boogers that he did before. I mean, all in all, it's a pretty nice machine, and I'm sure it was a lot nicer back in the day when dude got it running and going, but yeah. So I'm sure y'all heard the story if y'all watched this video. You know, this is a dead man's race mower. So I feel obligated to fix it back into the shape, better shape than it was in. Keep it together and run it, because it really is. It's a cool body. It's a cool machine. The propane was a good idea, but I'm not for it. I don't really like it. I'm going to do something else instead. Go back to gasoline. As you see, here's our solenoid and all that stuff in there. I kind of wish that was a closed box, and I could make it a closed box. Here is the throttle pedal that was conceived for this unit. Strange setup, but you know, I'll go with it as long as it works. I won't change it. We do have some accessories here on the dash. I see that he has a little 12 volt for a cigarette lighter, but that thing is probably roached and cooked, unfortunately, or I would use it. Got a switch for, I do believe, which is the there is a computer fan. On the air cooler. Check that out. I didn't see that before. There's a computer fan on the air cooler, and it keeps that oil cooler nice and cool. This is a crazy setup. Never seen it on a mower. Otherwise it looks alright. I feel like I could probably shoot fuel down it and see if it'd bark off. I feel like I could. There's a lot of wiring jacked up on this thing. I'm afraid I might have to pull the engine to do the wiring. I'm not sure. I'm hoping not. But as of now, it needs quite a bit. Quite a bit. And I really don't like the propane idea. He's got a regulator on this thing and everything. I mean, that's crazy. Absolutely insane build. And I mean, I dig where the guy was going, but I don't like propane. I'm not Hank Hill. That's a charging system. It's not even hooked up anymore. This wiring has been molested. I hate that. I'm trying to figure out what I want to start on first. We haven't really got a good view of the underneath. It's okay, that's a ooh. That is a nick in the propane line. I don't like that at all. You can tell he came in here and added pulleys to make this belt work. Did a pretty decent job. The belt's okay. Actually, that's good. I'm gonna need that. The trans brake is completely disconnected, so it doesn't have brakes. Oh, this thing needs some work. A lot of work. I hate that. This is gonna be a nightmare. Needs a new front axle. As you see, the axle is completely shit on both sides. So, new front axle. I got to re-strengthen the front end there and get that all squared away. I'm wondering if I should start on body work, honestly. At least get it together in one piece I don't know. Maybe I just start off with will it run. And if it'll run off being bottle fed, then in theory it should run off propane. I'm pretty sure I don't necessarily need propane to run this engine. I'm thinking I should be able to pour fuel into the carburetor area. That's a nice filter, which is good, so we got a good filter for it. I like that. I'll put this aside. I think I'd like to go ahead and I have a hot battery out here. I'm gonna check see if I have any batteries out here that are any good. If I do, we'll probably try to hook some jumper cables up and hot this thing and see if I can get it to fire up with some fuel down its throat. Actually, let's pull our plugs first before we get all crazy. Ooh, that probably wouldn't have made spark. That's crunchy. Okay, well, let's do this. Let's pull plugs, see what they're looking like, clean them up, see if we're getting spark. And then if we're getting spark, let's see if we can get spark plugs working back in there clean. See if we can bump it off with some fuel. On the battery, it'll work. I'm going to check the one that's in it. I'm sure it's no good. It is from 2018. Which is quite a few years ago. Let's see. It holds 4.27 volts. I'm surprised it even holds that. Yeah, 4 volts. It's no good. I figured that. Alright, so we've checked our oil multiple times. Let's check it again. Consistency feels right. And it also feels oily. Don't smell like gas. This side's a lot better off. I think I got plugs that will fit this guy. Let's go ahead and pull. This is the right, or let's say the left side of the mower. If we're looking at the front, that plug looks really clean and really good. Look at how good that looks. Nice clean plug. You can still see the white on it. Champion 12 YCs. Okay, let's hit this side and get it off. What the hell? don't even have the same plugs in it, guys. We'll definitely be putting a set of plugs in this. Someone wasn't thinking. Well, I mean, technically that is. I don't know. I mean, it's the same depth plug, but they're two totally different champions. We got a Champion RN4C, and then we got a Champion RC12YC. They both look pretty good. This one looks a little more fouled than this one. But let's go ahead and replace these. I've got a set over here. I'm going to go ahead and do the old oil up the cylinders a bit. I know it's spun over by hand, but I still would like to get some kind of a lubricant. Down in there to help it. There's going to be some leaking out. No big deal. Let's get us a drain pan. Throw under there to catch the stuff that may drip out. Okay, so at this point, this thing needs to be in neutral. I think that is neutral. Let's see. I would like to strap down the looks like we got a seized clutch. Got a propane line that hangs really low. Make sure this thing is closed off. I know it's empty, but still. There's two regulators on this thing. Man, this thing is so janky. Wonder if the starter's any good. That's the question. Is it worth a crap? Let's put some jumpers up to it. See what it does. got spark and a starter. That is awesome. Starter don't spin over the best though. I think we got a seized clutch down there, and the belt being on it may be an issue. So let's see if we can get that off real quick. If we can get the belt off. The engine should spin more freely. But getting this belt off is a whole other story. There we go. Yes. Yes. Okay. The belt is off and out of the way. Which is great. Got fluid dripping out of the exhaust, which is good because I filled it up. So let's spin this over one more time, see how she reacts. That is good stuff. That is really good stuff. So, now that we've got that situated, let's do this thing a favor and throw it some new plugs, because it needs that. So we got some GM plugs. That we're going to use. Alright. Got two GM plugs. we're about to install them in the engine. When I say GM plugs, I mean General Motors, Chevrolet, Pontiac, GMC, General Motors. These are legit GM plugs. As you see, they're GM 555-80961s. Okay, that's in. I need to clean this up a bit because it is crusty and rusty. So let's get this guy cleaned up real quick. Okay, there's one clean. The other one's clean already. I guess at this point, we know it has spark. I don't got to worry about that. I'm going to put the spark tester up. That up. Need that. Don't need that. Don't need any of this. Let's grab our 51 fuel mix and let's see what this thing will do. Will it run off of fuel? That thing is revved up super high. But it runs. Bit foggy in there. Whew. Shit. It runs though. That is awesome. That is so awesome. I'm excited for this now, guys. It runs. It runs. Now all I need to do is figure out why the throttle, I bet that cable's stuck. Well, I just got food call, so I'm going to let this air out in here and come back out here when I get done eating.
Alright, so I just got back from eating dinner. A couple other things I found out about this thing while looking at it. I did notice that he changed out a, probably got a valve cover at some point, because usually the valve cover would have had a hole in it for a vacuum port for the vacuum fuel pump, but it's not there. I also noticed it has two fuel regulators on it. I don't know if I mentioned that. There's one up here that has a shut-off valve on it, and there's another one back here on the tank itself with another shut-off valve on the tank, of course, because, you know, that's just how they do it. So, two fuel regulators, one with a shut-off. Also, this thing used to have two batteries on it. So I've been looking at the wiring, and this right here is a battery shut-off switch, and there is a sequence of battery cables, and I think he was able to turn one off and maybe use the other. I don't know how he had it rigged up, if he just had them both in sequence with each other for extra power, or did he have one jumpered straight to the other. Did he have one going through a switch so he could switch from one to the other? I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that more when I start to tear this apart. But we saw it run. We know that it's a runner, so that's no doubt. But this thing, before we ride it, needs so much stuff. It is ridiculous. This isn't just a will it run, get it running, see if transaxle spins, air the tires up, and take it out for a ride. No. The dash is completely just all gunked up. It needs exhaust work, which I can rig up something for a time being, but the gas pedal is stuck, so I'm thinking the cable's messed up. We also have so much wiring that needs to be done on this, and the front needs to be fixed. That battery needs to be taken out because it's no good. And all of that requires, unfortunately, pulling this engine. So I think I'm about to get to work and go ahead and try to get this engine out tonight before I call it a night. I've got a video to edit. We're very, very tired, and I haven't had much sleep. I got woke up real early by a puppy. So, yeah. I'd like to see how far I can get with this. So I'm going to start plugging away, trying to get this engine off of here at least tonight, and then, you know, tomorrow we'll come at it, and I don't know. Mike said maybe a ride tomorrow. The beast is done, so I kind of want to take it out, see what it does. If no ride, I'll probably work on this. If we do ride, I probably will be like, hey Mike, come help me work on the race mower. So, yeah, let's get to pulling an engine. Well guys, we got lucky. The pulley did fit through this hole, but just barely. There is the engine. So the exhaust on the right side needs work. Well, they both do. But now we're able to get in here and look at what we're needing to see. And there's a whole bunch of stuff I need to fix. I'm probably going to come through here tomorrow off camera and do a whole bunch of repairs in here to fix all this, and yeah, get this thing back to where it needs to be. So much work to be done. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night, guys. We got the engine out. It's sitting here and ready to be brought back to life. And I'm liking the sound of that. I think the machine is too. So, yeah. Old 88 Murray in the shop, getting resurrected. I love it. Well, I will see you guys out here again tomorrow, where we will be plugging away at this thing. More than likely framework, and getting it ready for the engine to go back on. Because once the engine's back on, we can do the exhaust work. I'm probably not going to worry about, well, I probably will go through the wiring while I'm at it. Why not? It's already apart. So, enough me blabbering. I'm going to go in here and get some sleep, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Alright, it's next day, and we're back on this. Since we got the engine removed last night, I'm going to come through here today. I've got the front jacked up to where everything is nice and level. We are going to weld all of this back straight so the hood will sit on there right, and then we can continue from there. There's a couple spots I need to brace up, but no big deal. Let's get the welding and get this thing sturdy again. Alright folks, we were out here last night on this unit, and we got the hood all nice and structured up. This still needs some work. I had added this last night, and I'm going to weld it in today. Weld it up here, weld it down there, and that'll add structure for the tunnel and the dash and the hood. But yeah, we came through last night and welded everything back together, structured it. Today, we're going to get this thing sitting on some different wheels and tires. I have an extra set of wheels for the General that I was going to use for the General, but I think they're going to be used on this now. I also have some spindles that I need to get on here. This thing needs a whole new front axle for sure, because that axle is just, it's wasted. It's wasted on both sides. So I'm probably going to try to stick a Craftsman front axle under it. I think it'll work. So that is the plan. So new front axle, new spindles, new front wheels and tires and clips. So it's going to have a whole new front end on it for sure. Also going to switch out the back tires. I do believe they're probably stuck on, unfortunately, because that kind of tells me they are. Has no clips or any of that. So it might be a heat and beat, or I might need to get out a wheel puller and try to pull this thing. I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to start with the back tires, getting them off, getting them switched, and then we'll focus on the front end. Alright, well, good news. I was actually successfully able to get one off without heat, juice, or a wheel puller. What I did was I took and I tapped the head of the axle right there until I got it a little bit in the wheel, and I took an extension that I don't mind sacrificing, and drove it out. Put a leg behind it to kind of put pressure and pull it out while I kind of tapped on it, and it came right off. we're going to clean our axle there and give it some lube. And we're going to throw on the 16 658 Hoosier Daddies on the rear. At least one of them for now. Alright, we successfully have one Hoosier Daddy 16 658 on the rear. And the other one actually came off fairly easy too. So I'm very happy about that. At this point, we're going to go ahead and do the second side. Oh man, that's cracked. That's cracked. I need to fix that. Shit. Oh, he had transaxle mounts, but the bolts have been removed. On both sides? Or? Man, just one side. Okay. I'll have to replace that too. I think I might go ahead and do that while I'm in here. Shit. It looks like it was broken both sides at one point. Maybe I just weld the top of the bolts in. And then when we go to change the transaxle or have to drop it or whatever, just slide it out of the bottom. I don't want to have to do that, but that crack is awfully close to that bolt. It's already cracked over here too, so maybe I should just weld that solid. Maybe so. Also, that needs to be filled in right there too. Alright. Well, I guess I'm gonna get to it. Get this welded up, get this axle cleaned, get all the parts cleaned up, and get it lubed so I can put it back together. You know what? I need to check the other side. It has not been cracked. It is just this one side that's looks like it's had hell. So I'm gonna fix all this and then we'll get it back together. Looks like that needs to be filled in too, actually. Right down in there. Yay, welding next to a propane tank. Don't do what I do at home. Just don't do it. Alright. Well. We got a set of Hoosier Daddies on the rear. 16 656s. I think I've said that 3 or 4 times now. We have welded the bolts like I said I would, just on this side, just while it's in there. I mean, if it slides out and slides back in, well, I might just leave it like that. I also welded top and bottom of that crack, and I welded our gaps on both sides that I had showed you. So all that's done. I have not yet welded that under the dash yet, but I will do that as soon as I move this unit. I'm about to move this over there so it's easier for me to work on the engine, and I can drop it down and then I can work on this thing because I kind of can't lift it up and do what I need to do with the front end with the engine there. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and jack it up, slide it over to the side, move it over there, and then I can drop the engine down and have both accessible to work on. Alright, we have made some progress. So here we are. We've flipped this thing around. Got the engine dropped down, of course, so it's out of the way. Our Hoosier Daddies are on the rear, lubed and clipped with the axles all clean. We welded up our crack over here and our gaps in the rear, so all that's nice and tight and welded and good. We came through here and last night we bolted on our dash piece, but I also ran beads of weld down each little corner, and then I put this brace in here and welded all the way around the bottom and all the way around the top. And look at the structure on this thing now. It does not move, and used to it wobbled back and forth. So now we have a nice and stiff dash steering column and everything. I will end up pulling this steering column out so I can, if you notice, he didn't quite drill the hole good enough, so I'm probably going to find a washer that fits this and then slide it on there and weld it. So I have a nice steering column and it doesn't move around and all that good stuff. Since we've done all of that, the next task is I'm going to cut off this front bumper. I did come through here and scrape all of this, all the rust off, and cleaned all of this up under it and above it. And at this point, like I said, all we need to do is cut off our bumper. Did I say exhaust? I don't know. I might have. We need to cut off our front bumper because we're not going to use this bumper on this application, and it's going to go on another mower. So let's cut our front bumper off, and then we can get in here and start tearing out our front axle and getting ready for our new Craftsman AYP style stamped steel front axle, snapper spindles, and our 410 354s. So in turn, we're legit putting the same front end we have under the General, under the Murray. Alright folks, look at the structure on this now. Look at that. That doesn't wobble like it did before. The hood is nice and sturdy front, and the bumper has been removed, and it just looks so much better without that rounded bumper on there. If there was going to be a bumper on here, it needs to be a square bumper to match the square aesthetic of the tractor. Round bumpers, no. I think I'm actually going to end up putting this bumper here, since it's rounded, on my wife's tractor, which is the late 90s Murray that's back here, the red one with the patina. And it'll match her rounded front end a lot better than the squared off front end. The Bandit mower did not have a bumper. I mean, not the mower. The Bandit car did not have a front bumper. I mean, it did have a built-in front bumper, but it didn't have a push bar or anything, so I'm not going to be adding anything on like that. We are going to be keeping the hood scoop, of course, or the air dam, or whatever you want to call it. It's kind of cool. Since that's done, I guess we're going to go ahead and raise the front up, and we're going to go ahead and start working on the front end, tearing it out and getting it ready for the new axle, new spindles, new front wheels and tires, all that junk. So let's get to tearing off this front end. we now have our axle removed out of the mower. And that front end looks ridiculously long without the axle. Dadgum. He did a good job moving everything forward. I mean, except for the angle iron bed bracket that broke. If he would have added a little more structure in there on both sides to hold that battery in there, he would have been golden. He did do a pretty good job extending the front end though. I do kind of dig it. Well, I guess we're going to go and get us a AYP style stamped steel Craftsman front axle and start working on getting it ready to put in the mower. This axle is the only Craftsman stamped steel axle I have left, and it is the one that was on the first gen Shaggy's build that was kind of that front axle was welded on, so I'm going to have to cut some stuff off of it to be able to use it. But no big deal, we can cut that off and grind it down, and we'll have a usable axle to throw in here and replace this crap that is no good. So let's go get us an axle and start kind of working at it and getting it ready to put in. Alrighty folks, it has already been one hell of a morning. I went ahead and grabbed the axle that I was going to use out of the storage out of there. It's an AYP Craftsman style stamped steel front axle. So these were welded to this just like that. Don't ask me why. But I got it cut off and ground back down to a basic Craftsman axle. The only thing is holes don't line up and everything, but we don't really want a pivoting front end. We want it to be fixed. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come through here, I'm going to weld that, and I'm going to weld down each side, and then we'll get this thing installed. Once I do that, I'll be able to drill these holes, and yeah, and we'll get this thing put up in there, and it'll still be removable. It'll just be that this plate right here will be fixed to the axle, while the rest of it bolts together. So I'm sure that'll work. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to welding this up and getting it ready to go on. So we got our Craftsman stamped steel front axle in. It is a fixed axle now, bolted all the way around and welded, and it looks good. Forgot to mention earlier that my grinder gave up the ghost earlier. The wire actually caught on fire because it had got nicked or bent or broken somehow, and the two connected. Well, I had another Harbor Freight grinder over here, and I didn't know that they're actually repairable. That screw's positive, that screw's negative. You take those screws out, you can take the whole wire out. That one was burnt up. I used it continuously until it burnt, but I saved it, and luckily the wire and everything out of the back was absolutely perfect for this unit. So I ended up putting a whole new wire and a whole new backing on it, and it works great now. So just so you know, Harbor Freight tools are repairable, so it's good to know. Now that we got our axle in front, I'm going to go ahead and weld up a couple spots that need to be welded. Like a spot right here where I accidentally cut into the frame last night. There's a spot right here on the hood. As you see, the stamped steel axle is only welded that much, so there's a gap down here and a gap up here. I'd like to hit those and get those filled in on both sides. And then once we do that, I think we're going to go ahead and go get our spindles off of our snapper back there, and come in here and start fitting those in. Alright, so we got us some welding wire back on this project. As y'all just saw, came through here, welded up the axle all the way down, because you know there's just a weld spot here. We welded here to finish that out. Came through here and welded here where I accidentally cut the other day, and here they're welded. And then I went ahead and finished out the plating, finished out some of this, welded it in here, and then finished out this weld here and ran one down. So I'm about to do the same exact thing for the other side. Get all this buttoned up and welded, and then we're going to go ahead and start focusing on our spindles. We're going to get those in and figure out to which angle they need to be bent, because you can tell they definitely need to be bent. They're not straight. Alright folks, well, I'm about to call it a night. I'll be back out here tomorrow. I went ahead and we're going to have to extend this, but there was a huge gash in it, so I kind of filled it with weld. I also welded a washer to that end. I have yet to do this end, but you see how it is, and I don't want that going through. So I welded a washer, clipped the other end. Our, I guess you would say, right side tire, looking at it from the front, is done. Spindle, everything nice and straight. Wheel is on. Everything has been lubed with a clip. I got to extend the tie rod that goes across, but the steering rod itself, I had to weld it up top, unfortunately, so if I have to take this off, I had to grind that and take it off. But I lubed it. I put some bushings in the axle on this side, and I have some for the other side. And everything's used, but you know, it's kind of a conglomeration of a bunch of parts from machines that aren't a Murray. So of course we got Murray body, Murray steering arm and steering arm connector, and a spacer. But then we have snapper spindles, we have Craftsman AYP front axle, and everything is just kind of put together. But it's nice and welded. Everything is nice and welded together. This thing should be nice and sturdy, I would say. I did have to bend this out of the way a little bit and crease it for the steering rod to clear, but it's got steering. So that's good stuff. It's not quite straight. That is right about there. But we're going to come back to this tomorrow, and I will do the other side. All I got to do, I've already cleaned the spindle. Just need to come in, cut it, bend it, re-weld it, weld our guide cup back onto the back here all the way around, get this put in there, this side is going to get cut off. If y'all saw the last general video, you'll understand what I'm talking about. What I did technically is I cut it off to where it sticks out to where it needs to, instead of having all that extra. And then I remade this area down here and put a C-clip or whatever you want to call those stupid clips, those right there, separator clips, the pin clips. I don't like those, but that's what it's set up for, and that's what I'm going to keep using. But that's what we're going to do tomorrow, and then we'll extend our steering rod like we need to, get everything connected, and then we will have a steering and front end done and structured on this unit. Everything will be structured except for the one thing that I need to do is come back here, and I need to add one bolt for the right side of the transaxle front mount. Needs a bolt for the frame, and then this thing will be ready for an engine again. Technically it'll be a rolling chassis, a ready rolling chassis. So that's what we've needed all along. And then we can go ahead and stick an engine on it. I don't think I'm going to mess with the wiring right now, because we've already done so much with this thing. So I will probably leave the wiring alone. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and bump it off with a battery or something, you know, just jump it. And we'll run it for the video and tune it around and see how good it is. And then once I cut the video, more than likely I'm going to come in here, I'm going to take this thing back apart, we're going to sand it down, we're going to get it ready for a paint job, and then after it's painted and we go back to reassemble it is when I will more than likely do a brand new wiring harness type setup, or kind of, you know, repair what's there and keep going. But that's the plan. And I'm going to quit rambling, and I will see you guys back out here again tomorrow, where we will finish this front end and get this thing sitting on the ground and see how low it sits in the front compared to before. Alright folks, it is the next day. As you see, last night we got this side done, and today I've already got this side done. So there she sits. All we need to do is get our tie rod that goes across in. And as of now, it's not long enough, so I went ahead and cut it off, or cut it in half. I'm going to add something in the middle to extend it, and add a washer on this end, just like I did this end. And then we'll be able to put clips in it, or install it, put clips in it, and this front end will be done and ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that off camera real quick. We can get that front end done. We can drop this thing down, roll it out of here. I can get the engine back up on here, and we can go ahead and think about putting the engine back on it. Alright folks, we have a totally rebuilt front end on this unit. Look at the steering. Good steering. Something this thing ain't had in probably a long time. So now that that's fixed, whole front axle's in and all that stuff, I'm going to go ahead and get this thing off of the lift, roll it out in the yard out here so we can see how it sits on level ground. Well, level as I can get. And then we're going to go ahead and get the engine back up on the hoist, and then put this thing back on the lift so we can get the engine stuffed in it. We got it off the lift, and there it is. Let's go out here and take a look at it real quick. The front wheels, tires, and spindles and axle that I put in really brought it down. Brought it down right where I wanted it to be, really. I mean, I wish it was a little lower, but I think that's gonna be good enough. It looks pretty good. I'm digging it. Marshall has come out to judge the mower and see if I've done good enough work. By the looks of his face, I think he's satisfied with the outcome. Alright, we got the engine up in the air here. I'm going to give it a quick once over before we decide to go any further. Get that gasket out. I need to get the other gasket if it, well no, I didn't take that side off, so never mind. The gasket's still on. I totally forgot about that. I figured I'd take this thing and give it a good look over, just to make sure everything's there. He definitely welded that to the bottom of the engine. Damn. Yep, that ain't coming off. That is permanent. Makes me want to drill a couple holes in that so it doesn't hold water. That way it don't rust out. I think we might do that before we put it back on. Just maybe run 1, 2, 3, and 4. That way it don't hold water, because if it continues to hold water, then it is going to rust out and then we're going to have a problem. So I think that's what I'm going to do real quick. Go ahead and drill some holes. Get that done. And I think everything's about ready to go back on. I can weld this on the engine, so I'm not really too worried about that. Got this unit up in the shop here on the lift. I went ahead and when we pulled the engine, the front end wasn't fixed and the hood was down, and I was able to make the clearance barely to hook up the engine. The shaft on the old cherry picker was actually touching the top up here, so I know for a fact now that the hood's fixed, it's not going to clear it. So what we're going to do, as you see, I've already removed hood bolts on each side. There's one on each side they pivot on, and that's much better than removing the whole grill. And I'm going to go ahead and pop that off, and probably go ahead and pop the headlight area here off, and then we'll be ready to go ahead and lower this engine right here back down onto the mower and get it bolted in place. Alright folks, well, once again I'm about to call it a night in this video. I don't know how many times I've done that in this video, but it's been quite a bit. We got the engine stuff back in it, so turn you around here. Did quite a few things off camera. This video's gotten kind of long, so I'm kind of trying to do some things off camera, show you all the big things at least. We got the engine stuff back in it, of course. We've got the fuel plumbed up to it. I had to turn the tank a little bit back here to get a little bit of fuel line out of it, but what I did is I strapped it up along out of the way of the pulleys, and it is far out of the way of the pulleys. I used zip ties, and I zip tied it in places like 3 times in the same place, so in case one zip tie fails, the other 2 hold it. We came through and welded, structuralized, welded the under it. There is some pulleys that the original builder, I should say, had added here, and it's just a bolt and it was moving, so I welded that in. We came in here and took all our pulleys off and cleaned them, lubed them. This one was severely seized. I had to bust the seal off of it, soak it with lubricant, and then break it free, drain some of that out, pack it back with grease, and put the seal back on it, and now it spins nice. Rest of them do too. They're all ready to go, and the pulley system is back together. All the belt catches are in place, and clutch is free and working. I came through and tightened up all the bolts on the transaxle mounts. I finally added that missing bolt that was missing there. Like I said, we got the clutch working. I rerouted the fuel line. As you see, it runs back way out of the way up through here and then into the engine compartment up there. As you see, comes in right there, and I don't know how that guy decided that it was a good idea, and if he is dead, you know, God rest his soul. He had this line right up next to the exhaust right here, and it just ran straight in. So since it's a metal flexi line, or aluminum, or whatever you want to call this, I think it's aluminum, I bent it up out of the way, zip tied it to the engine shroud, and got it out of the way of all heat sources. So it is good, and I might even come back through and wrap this at some point, but that was my phone dying. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to cut right here. I'm going to turn these to come out this way instead of back that way, out this way, and then we'll find a way to come down and out for the exhaust. And I still got to fix the other side of the exhaust where it is touching the oil filter. By the time we run this again, it will no longer be butted up next to that oil filter. So that is the plan. Alright, once again, another day, and I've already been to work. So there's our left side exhaust. If y'all remember, it used to come out, it hit the oil filter down in here, and then it came down and around, and it dumped out right there on the back tire. So I came in and cut it here, turned it, added a new piece, turned this piece up to where it's a straight shot. I've got the much room from the oil filter now, so now it's not cooking in the oil. And then I decided to do a turnout in the rear so it don't dump out on the rear tire and cook the rear tread. So now it just dumps out the side. And that is our exhaust. Unfortunately, the welds from the previous guy are ASS, but mine are pretty good. The only thing is I gotta secure it, but I don't know if I'm gonna do that now temporarily or ride it and then do it after we get it painted up. But I really like the way it looks, and now all I've got to do is copy that on this side. So I'm about to get to work on this side, get the exhaust done, and then honestly we should be able, if we have fuel in this thing, to ride this unit. Oh, brakes. Got to do the brakes. Then we'll be able to ride it. So brakes, right side exhaust. Let's get it done. Alright folks, last time I got the camera on, we just finished up this side and it looks great. working on the other side. So we've got damn near symmetrical pipes. The only thing is the diameter of the pipe is a little different. So this one is a little smaller than this one, not much. And there's a couple spots that are different, but I didn't have a long enough other tip, so I made one. I feel like I'm going to cut more off of that, but it's okay. I'll do that as we go. So that's gonna go on like that, basically. So that one's cut off right about the start of the tread, and this one's gonna need to do the same. So I'm gonna start cutting this up to fit it to there and get this exhaust done. Unfortunately, it is dark, and we will not be riding this today because it is going to be stupid loud, and I know it. There's no way that that is going to be quiet. It just ain't going to be quiet. So we'll have to fire it up tomorrow. So the good thing is we can at least get the rest of the exhaust done, and more than likely get some brakes hooked up on this thing. Then it'll damn sure be ready to ride. Alright, so we finally got this other side done, and it is damn near perfect. Pretty symmetrical too. As you see, this side comes out, down and out, and same with this side. So I'd say that's pretty much done. I think the last couple things I'm going to do to this tonight before we try to take it for a ride tomorrow is I'm going to finish pulling off the rest of the stickers, and then we're probably going to rig us up some kind of a brake handle back here so we have some brakes, and then this unit should be ready to rip through the yard. So I told you I was going to go ahead and get the decals off. I went ahead and got them off and sanded the adhesive off on this side and this side. And you know, of course, we got our exhaust done. I went ahead and rigged this up a brake. So that arm there has an arm that goes back. So I welded something in there that comes out. And then I welded a bar that goes back and then over to that. There's a big spring pulling on it going towards the back. There's a little spring pulling on it going towards the front. And then there's another spring pulling it in so it don't flop around. And then I have a stop. As you see, it comes up and hits the frame and it stops. So there's our brake set up for now, and that should work for a while. So that's what we're going to run with. I like it. So I'd say we did a good job on this unit for something that was missing a lot of shit and completely almost destroyed. This is a decent unit. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and call it a night. I'm going to be back out here again tomorrow, where we will go ahead and knock out the throttle cable, because that's all we got to hook up is the throttle cable, and then we can see if it has enough propane in it to fire it up and take this thing around and ride it some. Because other than those two little things, this thing's ready to rip. So I'll see you guys back out here again tomorrow, where we will do just that. Alright folks, it's the next and final day of this video, and I know that for a fact. So I'm not gonna lie to you folks, I have been out here playing around this morning already, and I have already got this thing running off of the propane. Come to find out that the tank actually is about quarter of a way full. I'm not really experienced with propane too much because I've always been a charcoal burner and this, that, and another, so I've never really used propane a whole hell of a lot. So come to find out, I pulled the tank off because I was going to have my wife, when she went to the store, exchange it for me, and it had a quarter of a tank. So I just went ahead and put it back in, and it runs, idles, all that stuff. The only thing we needed to do was put a throttle cable on it because the throttle cable was really messed up. So I came in here and used some of the stuff previously to clamp it down, and we have us a throttle cable, and it operates. You can see the governor arm in there moving, kinda, but it's working. We had to put a throttle plate on it, and luckily I had one from a Briggs & Stratton V-twin. So at this point, this unit, brakes, clutch, pulleys, everything, we're riding. We're riding. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to put y'all on the stand. I'm going to fire this unit up. We're going to see how it operates with the throttle pedal. And if that's good, I'm probably going to go through the gears and see this transaxle working, and if it is, we're going to get it off the lift and get it out in the yard, ride this thing around. Alright, so let's turn our fuel on. Pray to God that everything goes right, and let's start it up. We don't have a pulley season up again, do we? No. Alright, let's move this set up into the yard so I can jump it off. We can go take the propane mower for the first ride, and I don't know how many years. Alright folks, it's time to fire this thing up and ride it for the first time. Let's hope I don't die in the process. Hook our jumper cables up. Gonna turn our fuel on. off the belt, guys. But she runs, she rides. Wow. Few more adjustments. No big deal. But I gotta get that belt back on, and I guess I'm gonna go ahead and shut it off. Oh man, that was fun. Propane powered 810cc brakes of Stratton BG is alive, and that was more fun than I expected. Well, probably gonna do these tunes off camera because I think we've achieved what we want to achieve. I'm happy with it. Well, folks, I hope y'all enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed putting this thing back out on the road. Still got quite a few things to do to this thing, like some pulley tweaking and some throttle pedal tweaking, and of course it needs a lock diff. We're going to do a body kit on it. We're going to paint this and all that good stuff, wiring. That'll be on some next videos, and we'll have this thing put together real nice in the near future. If y'all enjoyed this video, please do me a favor and go down there and leave a like. I noticed a lot of people watch and don't like. I just noticed a lot of people watch and don't comment. Comment down below. Let me know what you think of this thing. What do you think we should do to it next? Think we should keep propane? You think we should convert it back to gas? What do you think? I'm thinking propane. And I was thinking about converting it back to gas, but I'm thinking I might stick with the propane. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Hit that all notification bell, that way you're notified every time we put out a new video, which is once a week, sometimes twice, if you're lucky. If you're in Flying Brown's Garage mood, you can go to the channel and check out some of the playlists that I have put out on the channel. Just scroll down through there and find something to watch and click on it. Also, check out Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. We post updates almost daily to those platforms, so you will see stuff like this a little early. Also, you can come join us at on Facebook at Flying Brown's Garage, Mud and Race Mowers, and share your builds, your ideas, and just come join us in general. We are putting together a race. Funny thing is, I've got 2 race mowers and I can't ride 2. I don't know which one I'm gonna ride. That's a choice. Do I ride the General or do I take a propane unit? Kind of want to take the General, but we'll see how it all turns out. Either or, I've got 2 race units ready to go, almost. I could race this. All I'd have to do is the wiring and put a battery in it. We could race the shit out of it. It rides really good. Brakes work. Steering works really good, and it's fast. So I'm quite pleased with this build. Seeing that I didn't build half of it, I guess I should call this a revival technically, because it's not a build, because I didn't build it. Credit goes out to some guy out there who may or may not be dead. I'm not sure. If he is, rest in peace. Your mower is still alive. If not, and you so happen to see this thing and you recognize it as yours, let me know. I'd love to get a backstory on this thing. The story I got was the guy that owned it was shot and killed by his neighbor, and then this thing was sold off and passed through some hands, and then it ended up in my hands, which is good hands because it's not in the junkyard. She's running and riding again. So, if y'all know any information about it at all, even if you were you know, knew the guy, seen it before, whatever, let me know in the comments. Shoot me an email at flyingbrian2293@gmail.com. I'd love to know more about this build. Otherwise, hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you guys on the next episode, where I'm going to try to get the body work done on the T-bucket so we can start getting it out. Then I'll have 3 race mowers. So I'll see you guys on the next episode.